Hello everyone, welcome. Today I am going to be taking all of this bright blue yarn and dyeing it a darker green color and then maybe making a project in the end. I've got all I guess these are all hanks now. Turn them into hanks. And I have the dye here. Wear rubber gloves, don't have any. Oh, I guess you could just put it all in the sink. Because these are going to be too small, I think. Okay, because this is not big enough, these little containers that I got for this. But it says you can do it in the sink, and I've cleaned the sink, so maybe I'm gonna do that. Let's just see, for example. I think I have to pre-wet them anyway, so let me just... I think I'm gonna do this in the sink, because then I have to rinse it after, too. It smells so strong like sheep, I'm starting to get allergic. Get off! Get off the counter, Luna. Oh, Luna, no! It's nasty! I don't have gloves, so I'm gonna use chopsticks. Luna is a lunatic. She knocked over my tripod earlier. Vinegar. I don't want to use it all. Squirt of dishwashing liquid. That's what it said to do. And then I'm gonna mix it. Right. I'm gonna have to lock Luna up because she's literally gonna go in the dye if I'm leaving it for 30 minutes. I'm supposed to like mix it. But even if I leave it for like 2 seconds, she will go in this and she will dye her little fucking paws. Whatever color I'm gonna do. Because she's an asshole! I know. Not your fault though, you're just a baby. I'm trying to think. Be short enough for this. Okay. I'm gonna put in some of this green color. I read the instructions, but I feel like we're at the point now. And everything's clean. Oh, it says shake it really well. I only shook it a little bit. I'm just going like this so you can see me and see what's going on. So, if my sink's not clean already, this should help clean it. Oh, wow. It said to use half a bottle for pound, and I have about 1 pound of wool here based on the amount of grams. Stop, so nasty. So we'll see. This is like, oh yeah, I should explain what I'm doing. This is like an emerald, but I want it to be a little bit less like bright turquoisey. I don't want it to be like a turquoise blue when it comes out. So I have this taupe. I was gonna mix taupe. It's really good. I'm gonna put all of this. I don't know. I didn't put all the green. I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna use my chopstick. I'm gonna use my chopstick. Oh, I breathed in too much. You're nasty. Get off. This is how I'm gonna pick it up. Whoa. And then I'm just gonna lay it in. Luna wants to be up here so badly. And these are floating. They should be sinking. Maybe I put too much water. Oh no! They won't get tangled because I have them all tied up properly, so should be fine. Oh, I touched it. I touched the butt.
You touched the butt.
No. No. You cannot be up here. I'm gonna have to lock her up while I do this. Sorry, Luna. I'm too nasty for this. Bam! Look at that strength. Look at that grip strength. Oh no! Now the cat's crying. Yup. Yup. I'm getting all the noodles in there. Kind of looks like noodles. Yeah, I don't know what kind of color we're gonna get because it's so blue right now. It's just turning like a turquoise color, which is okay. It's not the worst. And I also gotta be careful because I don't want to felt it. But I'm being careful with the chopsticks. And then once these are done, I'm gonna have to rinse them out. So let's see what it says. 140 Fahrenheit or greater. I think it's pretty warm. I just use sink water. But it's wool, so I don't want to make it too hot. Add 1 teaspoon of liquid dish detergent. I did that. For best results, add your vinegar. Add dye, mix well, submerge unfolded wet fabric into dye bath, stir consistently for 30 minutes or until desired look is achieved. Fabric will stir consistently. So I'm supposed to be like stirring in here. Fabric will look darker when wet prior to washing. Rinse with cool water until rinse water begins to run clear. Okay, yeah, so then I'm gonna rinse it till the water runs clear when it's all done. Wash it in warm weather with mild detergent by hand or in your washing machine in an old towel. Yeah, so I'm not gonna put it in the washing machine, obviously, because it's freaking wool and it's like very felty wool. So I'm just gonna rinse it in the sink and then use some of my wool shampoo, wool soap to get it all good. Okay, so I guess we just sit here and we stir it up. There's no way I'm gonna stir it for the whole time though. Yeah, that's it. So I'm gonna let this sit for 30 minutes like it says it's supposed to, or like until I'm starting to like the color. It's looking really blue right now, but I did add a lot of the taupe, hoping that it would counterbalance the blue. Maybe I should have got yellow dye, because it's blue, and blue and yellow would make it more green. But I have faith, it'll turn out, it'll be something. It'll be better than what it was, because that bright ass blue is not gonna be like a good look for me personally. So anyway, we'll rinse it out, squeeze it out later, and we'll leave it in these little buckets to dry. Then we'll have some dyed yarn. It'll be really fun. So it kind of looks way too blue, but then when I pick it up and I let all the sauce drain out, it kind of looks more like a green color. So I think these are ready now. I didn't really think through how I'm gonna pull the drain head out though. So I didn't really think that through, did I? And I don't have gloves, oh no. What have I done? Okay, I'm gonna have to figure something out. Got a plastic bag on my hand. I think this will work. Let's get that out. Oh wait, no, I should. Oh shit. I should put that on my phone. No. Okay. Okay, now we have our spaghetti. Now it's time to rinse it. Wait. Editing note here, this is just the reality of living with a Sphinx cat. She just yells at me all day if I'm not paying attention to her. Anyway, enjoy how satisfying it is when the dye runs out of the yarn. It's so cool. I love watching this. And after washing it, I ended up actually laying it on a towel of the same color, and this is how the yarn is looking color-wise, and I think it looks so amazing. Now it's time to wind it up, and I guess my hanks are really tiny, but that's okay. Then we're gonna just use the ball winder and be able to really see how the color is looking in a cake now. Okay, so now I have the yarn dyed and I've caked 3 of them so far. Didn't feel like doing all of them, but they look really cool. There's some that turned out a little bit darker, a little bit more yellowy green like this one. And there's some that turned out a little bit more medium like this one. And then there's some that turned out like just slightly more on the bluer end, but I think working them up all together, it'll still be pretty cool. So that's the plan. So the plan is to do a granny square pillow, just using the 2 colors, just going back and forth between white and this green that I made, and then connecting them all together. So my plan is to do 3 granny squares by 3 granny squares, so 9 total. And then I will sew up some fabric and use the fabric as the lining. That's the plan. So let's get crocheting. And yeah, maybe I can show you guys how to make granny squares. In case you're interested, here's how I make granny squares. So obviously you start out with a slip knot. Then you're gonna go ahead and chain 4. Then you're gonna stick your hook into the first loop you made and go ahead and single crochet that together, and that's gonna be your little starting circle for the granny square. Now go ahead and chain 2. Then you're going to go ahead and double crochet into the middle of the circle. So you're not going in a particular stitch, you're just going straight through the middle. And you're going to perform 2 of these double crochets. And then that's going to make your first little section of your granny square. Now you're going to go ahead and chain 2 and then go right back through that same middle section of the center, and you're going to double crochet 3 this time. And that's going to be your usual repeat of starting with 3. We only started with 2 on the first one because you have the little chain starting out, so it looks like 3. I think that's why it happens. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Anyway, repeat this until you have 4 of those sections. Then once you're at the end, go ahead and chain 2 as usual, and then you're going to go ahead and connect into the second stitch on that last little section thingy. And I'm just breaking the yarn because I'm going to do the next layer in a different color, and I'm going to go back and forth with the green and the white. I'm going to try to keep this pretty brief, but it's the same as the technique we were using before, except for you're only going to chain 2 in the corners between the crochet sections. And instead, when you're hopping to like a middle section, for example, you don't need to chain 2, you just go straight into that. I'm just going to spend some time working on all of those 9 granny squares. Now the granny squares are complete and they're so gorgeous. I love the color, but the corners are curling a little bit. So here's what you do. You add a damp cloth over top of it, and then you're going to go ahead and press with your iron. For mine, it's going to be on the wool setting since I'm using wool for my granny squares. And that's how you block them really fast and really easy. Then I just used some yarn and a tapestry needle and connected all the pieces, and then I went around one more time all the way around the border with another layer of crochet. And I think it turned out so cool. I haven't turned this one into a pillow yet because I don't have any stuffing ready to go for it because I like to use scrap fabric for that, but here is what one of my other ones turned out like as a pillow, and they look really cool. Really fun home decor. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the yarn dyeing process, and let me know if you like the color I made, and let me know if you like what I made out of that yarn.